Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now, Special Edition.
Thank you for staying with us this evening. I'm Destiny Richards. We had a very windy evening here in the inland Northwest, one that knocked over trees and damaged fences. Take a look at these images sent in by viewers of the damage they're seeing on their property following the storm last night. We can see just how strong those winds were. And we have meteorologist Matt Gray here. I remember that wind keeping me up all night, and you've been keeping an eye and an ear, I assume, on our gusty winds. We have more snow on the way now.
Yeah, now we're turning the page over to snow, right? After we've cleaned up all the limbs out of our yard. I certainly was doing that this morning. The winds finally have calmed down even more than they did as we got up this morning. It was still fairly blustery as we went throughout the day. In fact, just an hour or two ago, we still had 20, 30-mile-an-hour winds moving through the Spokane area. But now things looking a whole lot nicer. And so we pivot now to the next storm, which is going to be all about snowy conditions. And in fact, we did see some showers develop today. There was a little bit of snow pellets, a little bit of graupel around the region. We're also seeing some showers in the Idaho Panhandle. It's a little wet in Sandpoint right now and across the Cascades Passes. But this is what we're going to be talking about for the majority of this program. You look off the BC coast, that big swirl there, that is the next storm, and it is going to be a doozy, especially for a few specific areas just east of the Cascades. A winter storm warning goes into effect tonight. It will go all the way through 10 a.m. Monday, and that is for Okanagan, Ferry, Douglas, Stevens, and Pend Oreille counties. It is going to be very snowy, and that's going to start in the morning right to the east of the Cascades, and that snow eventually going to spread across the rest of the region. Here's behind me a quick simulation of how that is going to go. You're going to be waking up to snow in central Washington and many areas. Now, as far as the metro goes, we're going to be waiting a little bit longer, and going to be a few more ups and downs before we get to an interesting Monday morning. We'll talk about that coming up.
Thank you, Matt. Well, more than 3,000 Avista customers are without power around Spokane because of last night's windstorm. Most of the outages are from trees and branches falling into power lines. Avista says there are some easy things you can do to stay safe if the power goes out at your home. First, unplug all electronic equipment, including computers. You can leave a light or radio on to let you know when power has been restored. And help Avista crews working in a neighborhood know which homes have power by turning on the front porch light. Do not wire an emergency generator into your home's electrical system unless there's a disconnect switch to separate it from Avista's system. The back feed into power lines could kill or injure a lineman working to get electricity restored. And lastly, only use a generator to run specific appliances and place it outside so poisonous fumes do not enter your home. On our For the People coverage tonight, Washington's 7th District covers Stevens, Ferry, Okanagan, Douglas, and Pend Oreille counties. Running for re-election is Jacqueline Maycumber. She faces off against Lonnie Ray Williams. Bronte Sorotsky joins us in studio with what you need to know about these candidates before Election Day.
Well, Republican Jacqueline Maycumber has been in office since 2018. She helped pass a bill to cap the price of insulin in Washington and says now she wants to tackle public safety in the next session. Republican Lonnie Ray Williams hasn't held public office yet, but says his main focus is to build a sense of community in his district to tackle issues. Washington State House Republican floor leader Jacqueline Maycumber has represented the 7th District since 2018. In that time, she's passed a bill to cap the price of insulin and a bill to get more services to veterans. She says with another term, she'd like to tackle crime and focus on economic development.
We need to make sure that we increase, one, the amount of law enforcement officers in the state and in our community, and so they don't go to call, but they're able to more do community policing.
She faces Lonnie Ray Williams, a constitutional conservative who says he wants to bring people in his district together to solve their top issues.
Because communities care best for their neighbors. And when we just say, well, I'm going to hand government money and let them take care of it, government is terribly inefficient. They're not very good nannies. And really, we could do much better at solving problems on a community level.
Williams says he's running because he wants a representative to be available to people in his district and is proposing hosting 7 public meetings a month if elected.
Is that I am going to be available and have a town hall in every single one of those 7 counties every month. Now, that commits me to 7 public meetings where everybody can tell me how they want to vote.
When it comes to crime, Williams says communication with neighbors and sense of community can solve a lot of problems. Maycumber says bringing down costs is a big issue she'd want to work on in the next session.
It's a struggle to buy bread, soccer shoes. We forget about the $5, $10 that add up for our families because, that is what's the struggle right now, making sure that we are not putting an extra burden on them.
She also wants to tackle homelessness and says that's part of working to bring down crime. Williams says he doesn't believe there is one set way to tackle crime. Both candidates have it as items on the top of their list to work on. Now, Election Day is just 3 days away now. For more information on where candidates stand on the issues you care about the most, head over to our website, KXLY.com. Live in studio, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
And around the inland northwest, Idaho voters will have a choice in this election of whether or not more lawmakers can call for a special legislative session. Idaho is one of 14 states where only the governor can call a special session. Supporters say the legislature needs the power to call itself back into session to act as a check on the executive branch. Opposers say giving lawmakers that ability is a step toward big government overreach and a full-time legislature. If approved, 60% of lawmakers in both the House and Senate need to agree for them to reconvene. That number is short of the 2/3 needed to overcome a governor's veto. And we're less than 3 days away from Election Day, and ballots are rolling into the elections office. Occasionally, those ballots can be challenged or rejected for a few different reasons. From the moment your ballot is received at the Spokane County Elections Office to the point where it's counted, that vote will go through about 6 different steps, as long as there are no issues. Thousands of ballots are rejected or challenged in Washington every election, and most of the time it ties back to your signature. The signature on the envelope is compared to the signature you shared when you registered to vote.
So what was processed today, letters will go out tomorrow. So we're sending out over 200 letters a day to voters that tell them how to resolve their signature issues.
The Spokane County Elections Office also calls people up to 3 days before certification of the election. Voters then have until November 28th to return letters for their ballots to be counted. The ballots can also be challenged if they're not eligible, if they were signed with a power of attorney, if a witness was needed, or if they came in too late. The best way to make sure your ballot is counted is to follow its progress by tracking it on votewa.gov. More than 359,000 people are registered to vote in Spokane County. You can register and vote up until 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Around the nation tonight, voter turnout is looking promising, especially in the state of Georgia. With early voting over, Georgia elections officials are reporting a record number of midterm ballots cast. More than 2.5 million votes have been cast in the Peach State ahead of Tuesday's election. Texas, which finished its early in-person voting on Friday, also had an impressive 5.4 million ballots cast. That's more than Florida with 4.2 million and California with 3.8 million. Pre-election voting has been considerably ahead of the 2018 midterm pace where data is available. Some states with a surge in early ballots have changed election rules since the last midterms. For example, Virginia, Vermont, and Michigan expanded access to mail ballots. And over in Pennsylvania, Democratic Senate candidate John Fetterman's campaign is getting help from not one, but 2 U.S. presidents. Former President Barack Obama joined President Joe Biden on the campaign trail in North Philadelphia. Obama acknowledged Fetterman's health struggle, saying it hasn't changed his values. In his speech, President Biden criticized what he called mega MAGA Republicans for trying to stop his student loan forgiveness program. The current and past presidents also showed their support for Democratic Pennsylvania Governor candidate Josh Shapiro. Also campaigning in Pennsylvania, former President Donald Trump. He showed up to a Save America rally in Latrobe earlier today. Coming up, a Colorado school board member caught up in controversy after quoting Hitler on social media. New leadership at Twitter results in thousands of layoffs for employees of the company. And singer Aaron Carter dies at age 34. That's coming up on tonight's special edition of 4 News Now.
We also have another busy night in the Weather Center. We've got Stuff we're tracking now. We've got another storm on the way and potential for a pretty sloppy commute as we're heading back to work on Monday. Plus, a little taste of winter here in late fall. I'll show you some very chilly temperatures on their way.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by All Lines Insurance at alllinesinsurer.com.
At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
We were scrambling to figure out what are we going to do. Got phone call from Numerica. We've got funding that we're sending your way.
Thank you so much for all your support. It actually means something greatly to us.
September 7th was horrible.
All hell broke loose.
80% of the town lost their homes.
My family's home burned to the ground.
It was just heartbreaking.
Kathy was there for us.
Not taking political sides.
She's done a lot.
Put her name on the line to help here.
Kathy helped us start the journey to rebuilding.
She went above and beyond. She genuinely, actually cares.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
First psoriasis, then psoriatic arthritis.
Even walking was tough.
I had to do something. I started Cosentyx.
Cosentyx can help you move, look, and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections, some serious, and the lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to. Tell your doctor if your Crohn's disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Watch me.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
The election for Spokane County Commissioner will decide the future of our county for years to come. It will determine whether we preserve the status quo that protects the privileged few, or whether we fight for what we deserve, a county where everyone can thrive, no matter their political party, what they look like, or how much money they have. Join us. Together, we will build a safe and vibrant Spokane County.
A Denver area school board member is involved in controversy over a quote from Adolf Hitler she posted on her private social media page. CNN's Dan Beatty spoke to her about the fallout.
You quoting the German dictator responsible for the death of 6 million Jews in Europe.
No. Oh,
so I want to understand.
Where in my post did I talk about that?
Falcon School District 49 board member Ivy Liu didn't discuss Adolf Hitler's horrific acts, but she did quote the man in this Facebook post saying, quote, "He alone who owns the youth gains the future." The quote is associated with Hitler's plan to encourage young people's involvement with the Nazi Party.
Part of his success and also strategy is to train up young people to adopt the ideologies, which is very horrible. There was nothing you could not say that I was trying to glorify Hitler because of the sentence that immediately followed it.
Liu's post goes on to say, quote, "Parents, get involved and fight like your children's lives depend on it, because it does." Liu tells 13 Investigates she is concerned with new learning curriculum like critical race theory and social emotional learning and how they create divisions amongst students on racial and class divides. In a statement, D49's board president John Graham said they respect an individual's right to free speech, but calls Liu's Facebook posts wholly unacceptable and not in line with D49's cultural compass. Liu says she disagrees with Graham's statement and questions his ability to speak on behalf of the entire board.
Attacking my integrity and every aspect of my person that I should have walked maybe a year ago. I'm not walking.
The Falcon 49 school district does have a social media policy that applies to employees. However, it does not include school board members who are elected. Around the world today, climate activists in Spain glue themselves to paintings in Madrid. 2 climate change activists glued themselves to the frames of paintings by Spanish artist Diego Velázquez at El Prado Museum. They did this after painting 1.5 degrees Celsius on the wall. Data shows a possible 50% change of average global temperature, reaching 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels within the next 5 years, according to the World Meteorological Organization. Museum security personnel escorted the public out of the venue by the time police arrived to detain the protesters. And it's getting chillier by the day here in the inland Northwest. We've seen snow, rain, wind. Matt, we have more. I'm so tired of it. We have snow on the way, and then winter weather comes like in a rush.
It
with
does.
A force.
We all got lulled to sleep for most of October, right? It was sunny, it was beautiful, and it seems week by week now, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And certainly this week, I think would qualify as that. For the first time in a while, I'm talking about much colder than average temperatures. And, well, the cooler weather also means snow is in the forecast. And now that we have cooled off with the sun setting tonight, we are seeing some snow showers still across the region that were a bit of a wintry mix around the area earlier today. Some snow falling in Clark Fork. Just moved out of the Sandpoint area and across Lake Pend Oreille. Also on the south end of Priest Lake, we're seeing a little bit of light snow. It's going to be in and out. It'll move fairly quickly. Not expecting much in the accumulation department, if any, at this stage. Potlatch also seeing a little bit of snow and some light snow around Pullman and Moscow at this hour. Snow levels down to about, getting close to about 1,000 feet. So not down quite to Lewiston, but most of the area, if you do get a little shower that pops up over you tonight, it is going to be snow. We also have been seeing quite a bit of snow over Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass. Keep that in mind. Travel not going to be all that fun if you're headed west for the rest of the weekend. Now, it should be fairly nice tonight and into the morning around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. You can see temperatures here in the mid-30s already, so we'll be down to freezing before long. And it should be quiet, at least to start. Now, it's not going to be quiet everywhere. I'll show you that in a minute. But let's look at our lows tonight, down into the 20s, pretty widespread across the region. Teens for places like Colville and Winthrop. Low 30s in Moses Lake, Ritzville, and mid-30s in Lewiston. One of the few places that is going to stay above freezing tonight. So here as this storm comes in, basically, you got a cold front here, you got a warm front here. Really what you just need to know is that basically this is going to squeeze all the moisture from the storm right up against the mountains, and it's going to be pushing into the Okanagan Highlands, and it is going to snow. It's going to snow some more. And then it's going to snow some more after that. We're talking a lot of snow, particularly in Okanagan and Ferry counties. Gradually, that's going to expand out to the east. And so by the time we get to kind of late tomorrow night and on Monday morning, we're going to see snow begin to work its way into the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene metro, as well as down the Palouse and all the way to Lewiston as our snow levels continue to drop. So that's something we're going to be watching pretty closely. There's been some variations on the timing of that, and that could be really important for your Monday commute. We'll keep you updated as we go through the rest of the weekend. But I just want to show you what we can expect tomorrow. If you're watching us from Omak, from the Methow Valley, from places like Colville, from around the Waterfield Plateau and the Grand Coulee, it's going to be snowy, it's going to be miserable travel, and it's going to start in the morning, and it basically isn't going to stop until we get to Monday morning. That's just 24 hours worth of snowy conditions. We'll be pretty quiet around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene until we get into the evening. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s for your highs. And look at that cold weather. We'll talk about this a little bit more. We're talking about teens in the morning and only 20s in the afternoon. Destiny, winter is here.
It is. Might as well get used to it, right? Oh, yeah. Twitter employees are facing layoffs this weekend, just days after the $44 billion takeover by Elon Musk. Meanwhile, the company is seeing a pause from major advertisers because of reports of a surge in racist comments and hate speech. Mike Valerio has the latest.
Twitter in turmoil just a week after Elon Musk completed his $44 billion purchase of the social media giant. Potentially thousands of employees at Twitter today opening their devices to learn that they no longer have a job. Mass layoffs are expected across the company.
If you're going to police content less, if you're going to moderate content less,
You don't need as many staff to do that. It's also a function of what he needs to do, however, because he massively overpaid for this company.
In response, several employees have filed a class action lawsuit alleging that Twitter is in violation of the WARN Act, which requires an employer with 100 or more employees to provide 60 days advance written notice prior to a mass layoff.
There are certain exceptions that would exempt a company from making those types of specific notices.
This while a number of major corporations such as General Mills, General Motors, and Audi have paused their ads after Musk's takeover and reports of a surge in racist comments and hate speech on the platform.
Advertisers are already really freaked out about what this platform will look like in the world of less content moderation. They don't want their logos alongside anti-Semitic tweets or, neo-Nazi content.
Musk responding to the moves with a tweet saying he has seen a massive drop in revenue, which he blamed on activist groups pressuring advertisers, even though he says nothing has changed with content moderation. To generate revenue, Musk may charge $8 a month for Twitter's subscription service called Twitter Blue, the coveted checkmark to verify an account, among other features.
And former Twitter co-founder and CEO Jack Dorsey has apologized for growing the company too quickly. Dorsey tweeted, quote, "I own the responsibility for why everyone is in this situation. I grew the company size too quickly. I apologize for that." Dorsey's observation tracks with industry observers who believe Twitter may have been overstaffed. Although Dorsey stepped down from Twitter's board this year, he's staying involved after Musk's takeover. He contributed just under $1 billion to Musk's $44 billion Twitter purchase, making him one of its largest individual investors. Aaron Carter, a singer who found fame at a young age with pop songs like I Want Candy, has died at the age of 34. The one-time teen idol started his recording career at the age of 9. A spokesperson for the LA County Sheriff's Department responded to a call at his Lancaster home around 11 a.m. local time. Carter was found dead in his bathtub. Authorities have provided no information about a possible cause of death. Aaron, who was the younger brother of Backstreet Boys' Nick Carter, first rose to fame in 1997. In addition to his career in music, Carter was also an actor, appearing in TV shows like Lizzie McGuire and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. An end to daylight saving time is on the horizon. We'll let you know how changing the clock could be impacting your health. And this year's flu season only multiplied by 3 different viruses spreading through the nation, how some hospitals are handling it. A new antibiotic to treat urinary tract infections is looking for FDA approval. That's next.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. Oh, creamy ranch. Oh, melty Swiss. Oh, roasty beef. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
In 1992, we sent Patty Murray to the Senate to fight for us. But after nearly 30 years in D.C., she's changed. Murray has taken almost $2 million from lobbyists, and she voted for a massive tax cut for millionaires. Patty Murray's looking out for the millionaires and special interests, not us. It's time for a change. That's why I'm voting for Tiffany Smiley. She's a political outsider who will always put Washington families first.
Evergreen Principles PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Change is just a part of life. As humans, we're wired to handle life's changes, big and small. COVID-19 is one of those changes, and it's sticking around for a while, whether we like it or not. Each new wave requires us to adapt, to adjust, but together, we will. COVID keeps changing, but so can we. Visit takecarewa.org to learn how.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
Scotty has never seen our children.
A price I was honored to pay.
Today, too many families are having to sacrifice, and I fear we are losing our country. Life is unaffordable, and our communities less safe.
We need change. That's why my hero, Tiffany Smiley, is running for Senate.
I won't stop fighting until we leave our children in America worth giving their eyesight for.
You got this.
With your help, we will. I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. Now that is a buffalo chicken sandwich. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
The 4 News Now Extreme Team is brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
COVID, respiratory illness, and the flu are taking over hospitals. Doctors calling the 3 illnesses the triple virus threat. Together, it's causing the highest hospitalization rate this early in the flu season in the 12 years the CDC has been keeping track.
This morning, health officials say hospitalizations and deaths from the flu have doubled in just the last week. This week alone, more than 4,000 patients admitted to hospitals, with an estimated 13,000 flu hospitalizations so far this season. Experts say lack of vaccination may be a contributing factor.
We aren't seeing the level of uptake of the flu shot that we would like to see. Unfortunately, the reduced numbers of those being vaccinated is directly contributing to the surge that we're seeing.
The CDC again stressing children younger than 9 who are receiving the influenza vaccine for the first time should get 2 doses 4 weeks apart.
Getting that protection for flu ultimately will mean that they'll be protected, the community will be protected, and will save our hospitals from becoming overcapacity.
But with the triple threat of viruses, the flu, COVID, and RSV, many hospital pediatric units are filling up fast.
One minute, my son was bouncing off the walls, doing all the things a typical 2-year-old does. And the next minute, he was in the hospital and he needed oxygen and an IV.
2-year-old Ethan spending 3 nights in the hospital.
This was by far the scariest experience I have ever had.
Doctors telling her if Ethan got worse, he would have to be transferred to another hospital, many already at or near pediatric capacity.
We're incredibly grateful that we were able to get him the care he needed.
Pfizer and BioNTech officials say people who get the new bivalent booster for COVID-19 have stronger immune responses against the BA.4 and BA.5 subvariants compared to those who didn't get the shot. The drug makers say the bivalent booster roughly quadruples the levels of antibodies from the variants in people over the age of 55 in comparison to the first vaccine. Health experts advise people to get boosted this fall in order to prevent a surge in COVID-19 cases. A children's hospital in Texas has activated its internal disaster code due to a surge of respiratory illnesses. The Cook Children's Healthcare System says it is full across the board, including hospital beds, the ER, and its urgent care centers. The Dallas-Fort Worth-based health system blames a combination of respiratory viruses, including RSV and the flu. Transfers to the pediatric intensive care unit are facing wait times of up to 10 hours. Doctors are advising parents and caregivers to contact their pediatrician first for any illness or injury that isn't serious. Hallucinogenic mushrooms are showing serious promise as a treatment for medication-resistant depression. According to a new study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, a single dose of 25 milligrams of synthetic psilocybin showed immediate results. But they say there are a number of things that need more study before the drug will be available for clinical use. A new type of antibiotic to treat urinary tract infections will soon be submitted for FDA approval. It's the first antibiotic developed for UTIs in more than 20 years. UTIs are one of the most common infections, especially in women and girls. If left untreated, it can lead to permanent kidney damage, premature birth, and sepsis. New antibiotics are desperately needed because over time, many kinds of bacteria have become resistant to medication. The drug maker GSK says it recommends stopping testing early because the drug has already proven to be effective. Get ready to change your clocks again. Daylight saving time ends tomorrow. In this clip provided by the University of Washington, one doctor says changing our clocks twice a year could be impacting our health.
When we go to daylight saving time, it's like dosing the entire population with an hour of permanent jet lag. In particular, when we spring forward, increased heart attacks, strokes, mental health gets impaired, accidents. There's all kinds of untoward effects of that.
The Senate passed a bill earlier this year to keep us on standard time, but it's stalled in the House. 4 News Now Special Edition. We'll be right back.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
We voted for Patty Murray 4 times before.
But not this year.
Not this time.
Prices at the grocery store keep going up.
Our 401ks are losing value.
We're headed in the wrong direction, and we need new blood.
It's time for Tiffany Smiley.
This November change is on the ballot, and her name is Tiffany Smiley.
This isn't about a party. This is about the future of Washington.
I think we can do better. Voting for Tiffany Smiley is doing better.
I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
The world is a vampire.
2 of rock's biggest bands in a must-see monumental night. Spirits on Fire Tour. The Smashing Pumpkins. With very special guest, Jane's Addiction. November 9th, Spokane Arena. Spirits on Fire Tour. The Smashing Pumpkins with Jane's Addiction. And Poppy. On sale now at TicketsWest.com.
Freedom, liberty, pursuing American dreams. That's Idaho. But Joe Biden severely threatened our way of life. Reckless energy policies sent gas prices soaring, irresponsible spending, and record-breaking inflation. Open borders allowed dangerous drugs and crime into our neighborhoods. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message because we are Idaho, and together we'll fight to protect Idaho's way of life.
First psoriasis, then psoriatic arthritis.
Even walking was tough.
I had to do something. I started Cosentyx.
Cosentyx can help you move, look, and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections, some serious, and the lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to. Tell your doctor if your Crohn's disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Watch me.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
I'm Doug White, and I'm running for Congress. Dan Newhouse says we need to hold government accountable, but he supported raising our federal debt $8 trillion. China had the biggest trade surplus in our history. He cut corporate taxes 14%, but not ours. And he and his wealthy friends skimmed $300 billion off of PPP loans. I am tough. I will keep our tax dollars in this district to invest in us. I'm Doug White, Democrat, and I approve this message.
The 4 News Now Extreme Team is brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
You may have seen these stories on your Facebook feed, and they're trending right now on KXLY.com. Spokane police say 32-year-old Marlene Pfeiffer and 40-year-old Stephen Brown stole thousands of dollars from a business north of Newport Highway Wednesday night. The couple crashed into a police car at North Green Street and East Mission Avenue and injured the sergeant driving before getting out of the car and escaping. Officers managed to find the couple with the help of witnesses. And the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife tracking a black bear in the Northwoods neighborhood since yesterday. The bear has also been seen nearby in the Pasadena and Minnehaha climbing areas. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife set a trap for it this morning, and they're asking people to keep their trash and any other food sources locked up so the bear will move on. Starting Monday, if you don't slow down while driving past Ferris, Adams, and Roosevelt Elementary, you'll get a hefty ticket. The speed cameras in those areas have been issuing warnings for the past few weeks. Now, anyone caught speeding on camera will get hit up with a fine of up to a $450 fine. Excuse me. And ski season is almost upon us, and conditions are looking promising. Mount Spokane got more than a foot of snow yesterday, which will help add a nice base layer as we get closer to the start to ski and snowboard season. And coming up on 4 News Now's special edition, a fire at an apartment complex in New York had a woman holding on for dear life. And if you're looking forward to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this year, we have a sneak peek at the balloons you could be seeing as they take a test flight.
And should be pretty quiet around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene as far as snow goes tonight, but there is a lot more on the way. It is going to be looking pretty good on the ski hills as we get to the end of this upcoming week. We got to talk about more snow on the way in your First Alert forecast.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you.
all your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
You can get your smile back today. At Affordable Dentures and Implants, we make high-quality tooth replacement affordable for everyone. So whether it's a single tooth, full dentures, or life-changing dental implants, we have an experienced dentist who can help you go ahead and smile. Click or call to schedule your new smile consultation today.
Go ahead and smile.
Joe Biden can count on Patty Murray. Other Democrats may abandon Biden, but the president doesn't worry about Murray. From the Green New Deal, student loan forgiveness, expanding the IRS, and giving health care and citizenship to border crossers. Murray votes with Biden 96% of the time on refocusing the military to white supremacy, transgender rights, critical race theory. Patty Murray is a committed progressive. Call Patty Murray. Thank her for standing with President Joe Biden. Our American Century is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's a prime-time Plinko party like you've never seen. Qualify in November and win a shot at Plinko Cash at the Kootenai Casino in Bonners Ferry. And our Plinko party is just the beginning. Midweek room rates are just $109 for Kootenai Falls Lodge or $129 for a Riverview room. Both come with breakfast for two. If you like parties and you like winning cash, book a getaway to the Kootenai Casino. Call 888-YOU-ARE-LUCKY or visit KootenaiRiverInn.com.
Hi, I'm Natasha Hill. I grew up in Eastern Washington, and I'm raising my family here, like my mom and my grandma. I want to ensure that all communities are represented, that our children have healthy, safe communities and every opportunity to thrive. Career politicians like Cathy McMorris Rodgers have stopped listening and are out of touch. Looking out for corporate interests and rolling back our rights is not the path forward. It's time to focus on this Washington. Let's go. I'm Natasha Hill, and I approve this message.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now, Special Edition.
A high-rise in Manhattan caught fire earlier today, and video shot from across the street shows a woman dangling from the complex. Take a look at this video. A woman is hanging from the windowsill, waiting on firefighters to rescue her. She is safe, and the rescue was ultimately a success. The woman reportedly held herself on the windowsill for more than 5 minutes. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is still nearly 3 weeks away, but its inflatable stars are getting a test run. The parade's balloons were put through the paces at New Jersey's MetLife Stadium today. The airborne floats were inflated and prepped before a test flight to gauge real-world conditions. Some of the balloons are as tall as a 5-story building. Back in September, some of them had field training at Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey. This year's balloon lineup includes Bluey from the popular animated series, Sinclair's Dino, Stuart the Minion, and astronaut Snoopy. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade dates all the way back to 1924. And as Thanksgiving approaches, so does the colder weather. Matt Gray is here in studio with your first alert forecast. Matt?
Well, the balloons don't like the wind, and neither do we. Thank goodness the wind has moved on. Now much cooler air is settling in across the inland northwest, and we are going to be seeing more and more snow showers as the next couple of days go by in your weather. All right, let's take a look at what's going on right now. A couple of snow showers around Priest Lake, just to the north of Moscow. Most of this is going to be moving off and fading away as it tracks off into Montana. You see that big swirl, though, off the BC coast. That is our next storm, so it is almost upon us. We really are not going to get that much of a break. And look at our temperatures already dropping down into freezing in Sandpoint, Bonners Ferry, in the 20s already in Colville and Winthrop. And some of this moisture is going to get across the mountains tonight, which means some of us are going to be waking up to snow. Look at these temperatures for your lows tonight. It is going to be a chilly start to your Sunday. And get this, temperatures like this, these will be our highs in just a few days from now. A big cool down, and we got to talk about a lot of snow coming to certain parts of our region next.
Search and rescue efforts are underway following tornadoes that swept through 3 states Friday night. At least 1 person is dead, and an official in Oklahoma says multiple people are missing. Gloria Pazmino has the latest.
This is one of several tornadoes spotted through Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas Friday evening. In Oklahoma, at least 1 person is dead and multiple people are missing, according to officials. You can see the trail of damage left behind in Oklahoma. The storms powerful enough to overturn a tractor trailer on the side of the highway. In eastern Texas, homes and businesses destroyed, leaving thousands without power. Some residents say it happened in a matter of seconds.
The electricity went out. Right when it went out, it said, hey, take cover. And then the electricity went out, and I called him in the house, and we just took cover. And they came, like, within seconds.
As soon as it happened, I just started going to the houses looking for people and make sure there was nobody in them and stuff.
Like this.
According to the National Weather Service, most of the reported Texas tornadoes swept along the Red River border with Oklahoma. On Saturday morning, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt touring damage in Idabel, saying he plans to declare a state of emergency in affected counties. I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
Coming up on 4 News Now, our Air for Adventure will take you on a journey through a neighborhood of floating homes on Lake Pend Oreille. And as reporters, we're prepared for a lot to happen when we're out in the field, but we can't be prepared for everything. Coming up, how a bird interrupted a reporter in the middle of a story.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas patch reported reductions in pain severity, using less or a lot less oral pain medicines, and improved quality of life. That's why we recommend Salonpas. It's good medicine.
You didn't choose cat allergies. You didn't choose your hairline, hot flashes, the flu, or that thing when your knee just gives out for no reason. You didn't choose your bad back, or this, or that. You didn't choose depression, melanoma, or lactose intolerance. But with Kaiser Permanente, you can choose your doctor who works with other best-in-class specialists to care for all that is you.
When foot pain is breaking your heart, a mother's story.
My foot pain got really bad after I had my son. I didn't have any energy left to play with him.
She tried various tricks and treatments.
A lot of those disposable throwaway inserts.
Nothing worked, till she got fitted for Good Feet arch supports.
I could feel like something was happening.
Something good.
It's been a life changer.
For Elisa and her now not-so-baby boy. Stop by for your free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Entresto is the #1 heart failure brand prescribed by cardiologists. It was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. And don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
Rain, snow, plummeting temperatures, and dangerous wind gusts.
A series of storms that are going to be moving through.
The 4 News Now First Alert Weather Team is tracking them right now, on air, online, and on the app. That's what we mean when we say expect more.
Consumer Cellular has the best customer service.
They care about the customer.
The best price with the best quality.
The prices, the coverage.
The coverage is great.
It was the same, if not better.
Consumer Cellular provides the exact same premium coverage as the nation's leading carriers for half the cost. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get talk, text, and data starting at just $20 a month.
It's like 4 scoops of ice cream for the price of 1.
Switch today and get a 100% risk-free guarantee. Call or go online.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
Well, for our focus tonight, I want to drill in a little bit on some areas that are going to not have a great time tomorrow, because we're going to have lots and lots of snow in certain parts of the inland Northwest. And so I'm going to start over at the passes, because it's all about what's going on around the Cascades, especially tomorrow morning. You can see snow on Stevens Pass still coming down, and it was a sloppy day on Snoqualmie. It's going to be again tomorrow. It's great to see Lookout looking great after, boy, it was a horrible, horrible situation there as we were going into the start of the weekend. So here are your passes for tomorrow. Headed east from Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, looking good. Headed west, definitely want to use caution and maybe think about rescheduling, because as you get closer and closer to the Cascades, it is going to get snowier and snowier. Here is what's going to happen. That storm that I showed you just a few minutes ago, as it moves in, basically all its moisture is going to get pinned right up along the Cascades. Anytime you get air, moist air flowing uphill, that usually means that there is going to be lots and lots of whatever precipitation that is. And in this case, unfortunately, it is snow. And I say unfortunately because this is going to be a total mess, especially for places like Lake Chelan, like around Okanagan County, the Methow Valley, the Okanagan Highlands, even right down the center of the valley down by the river. It is going to be a total mess tomorrow and into the start of Monday as well. Speaking of the start of Monday, while we may see a couple of showers around Spokane, it's really going to be overnight, tomorrow night, and on early Monday morning that the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene Metro has another chance to see accumulating snow as this storm passes by. Still working on the timing a little bit of that, but that is something you should be prepared for, is snow as we're headed back to work, headed back to school on Monday. A winter storm warning for those areas that I just mentioned, especially right up against the Cascades. Tomorrow, all the way to 10 a.m. Monday, where we're talking about some big-time snow totals. This is just through the next 24 hours through about 10 p.m. You can see pretty decent snow in places like Colville, but look at this. We're talking about 6-8 inches, maybe even more in places like Winthrop and Omak. And look at this. Now, this is through the start or about the middle of the Monday morning drive. So you can see accumulating snow coming to Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, anywhere between 1 and 4 inches, we're thinking. 2 to 3 inches around Pullman and Moscow. And look at those totals over on the other side of your screen for Winthrop and Omak and around Colville and Chewelah as well. It is going to be really, really messy in those counties. So take it easy, take it safe over the next couple of days as that snow basically our first burying of the season. Now around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, quick look here at your forecast for tomorrow. Highs in the 40s, couple of showers before we get into the later parts of the evening, and then we'll see a wintry mix that will transition over to that snow. After that, bitter cold temperatures, and this is bitter cold for November. Lows in the teens, highs in the 20s. Warm up a little by the end of the week. We'll also have some wind chills. We're getting up on Tuesday morning. It is going to feel so much like winter, especially because we're falling back and the sun's going to set at like 3. I'm just joking, but it's going to feel like it sets at 3.
Thanks, Matt. Well, one community on the shores of Lake Pend Oreille has become known for its homes on the water. The community has been a staple of Bayview for more than 100 years. In this week's Air 4 adventure, we see what makes living in a floating home so special.
Welcome to Bayview, Idaho. It's amazing. You get to wake up to the sunrise and go to sleep with the sunset. It's gorgeous. Fall is my favorite. I do love it when the season starts to change. Leaves are beautiful, the crisp air. I mean, summer's beautiful too, but yeah, I love fall's my favorite. It's a floating bar and grill on Lake Pend Oreille right next to the boat launch. It caught my eye years ago, and we have a float home nearby that we live on, and so it's a beautiful place to be for sure. We're lucky every day to work here and live here. It's definitely stable. Everyone asks that. They say, you know, do you rock? You know, no, it's stable. I guess it depends on where you're at, you know, but it's just like a home on the lake. Yeah, you don't move around that much unless a boat comes zooming by, but they shouldn't be. But the lake drops, as you can see, and so the kokanee spawn and the eagles. It's so cool. We sit on our deck and just watch the eagles swoop down and eat their meal. It's gorgeous. Yeah, a lot of people come down here to eagle watch, and we can just sit on our patio and watch it ourselves. It's great. Close-knit, you know, community. Everybody knows each other, and you know, how's it going, John? Did you get your boat fixed? You know, I love that small feel. It's just different and beautiful, and just a little piece of heaven.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. Oh, creamy ranch. Oh, melty Swiss. Oh, roasty beef. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
Today, tonight, then tomorrow, Cal Cars is kicking off the month with a 72-hour sale at all 3 Cal locations, where they are marking down over 72 trucks, cars, and SUVs to sell fast. Plus, delaying all payments until February 1st. And $0 down is all you need. Save thousands and trade your old vehicle in for something better with a complimentary 2-year service maintenance plan included. But it's only today, tonight, and tomorrow at Cal.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
Our family is all over the place sometimes, but ICCU helps us keep up with them. We use card control to turn on Olive's debit card when she needs to pay for activities.
And turn it off when she's shopping online.
We make sure Forrest is depositing his lawn mowing checks into his college fund. And we definitely make sure to ask Grandma Ivy where all those Zelle transfers come from. Phew, was a lot of keeping up. Ready for a break?
I have a little bit of savings, but I depend on Social Security and Medicare. I'm alarmed to read that Tiffany Smiley supports a plan that could virtually, in all respects, end Social Security and Medicare in 5 years. Then she'd make Congress fight about whether to create those programs all over again. It's a nightmare. Tiffany Smiley, I earned my Social Security and Medicare. I will not let you take them away.
Women voters responsible for the content of this advertising.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. Now that is a buffalo chicken sandwich. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
Here's our sports team with college football updates from Moscow.
There weren't many happy Vandals after last year's 50-point loss to Eastern Washington. This year, a completely different story. Idaho cruises past Eastern 48-16, dominating in every aspect of the game. And there were a lot more happy Vandals in this year's post-game press conference.
I thought it was a really good win for our team, good win for the program. Really credit our guys who were here last year, who came back, is to flip the script from losing this team by 50 last year to winning by 32. I mean, that's impressive to turn that around. So credit to all of our guys who came back.
Maybe no Vandal is happier than wide receiver Hayden Hatton, who tied the Idaho single-game touchdown reception record with 4.
I love being able to tie a record of that magnitude. It's pretty awesome, and I don't have a lot of words for it. I'm just very, very thankful. I'd love to thank my O-line.
Idaho improves to 6-3 overall. The Vandals look to get to 7 wins next weekend in their final home game of the regular season when they take on UC Davis. And you might have seen the trophy there in the post-game press conference. Idaho head coach Jason Eck unofficially calling this matchup the Chisco Cup. Combination of the town of Cheney and Moscow. First round goes to the Vandals. Now we're going to send it over to Alex Crescenti, who has more on Eastern Washington.
I'm not sure there's anything left to say at this point about Eastern Washington that hasn't already been said. Another performance on defense to forget, and an offense that simply can't score at a high enough rate to keep these games competitive. But it's not like they didn't have their chances today, as the offense moved into Vandals territory on their first 2 drives of the game, and the defense picked off Giovanni McCoy. And what was all that worth? Just 3 points. That's when Idaho went on the attack with 4 Hayden Hatton touchdowns to help put the game out of reach by halftime. As the offense struggled to move the ball down the field, head coach Aaron Best turned to backup quarterback Kakoa Vesperis as a potential spark.
It's not necessarily putting guys in and out. It's truly kind of the room, the side of the ball, the team. I'm going to try anything that sparks us. And I think 16 is an explosive player, doesn't have a ton of experience. But no matter who's back there, we got to protect him better. We got to run the ball, because the quarterback's best friend is the run game. We didn't do that enough tonight. But
yeah, I mean, our whole thing this week was to start fast, and I believe that we did it. It just didn't happen enough. And you know, that's all that we got to do is just start fast and stay consistent with how we play throughout the whole game.
So while it's very likely that the Idaho Vandals will be moving on to the FCS playoffs for the Eastern Washington, completely different story, just 2 games left in the regular season, and they have Montana coming up next week in Missoula. That's where their 2021 season ended. And moving to the Pac-12, the Washington State Cougars getting a huge win down in Palo Alto this afternoon, beating the Cardinal 52-14. Nikia Watson coming back from injury and going for 166 yards and a touchdown as the Cougs are now 1 win away from bowl eligibility. They will now return home for a matchup against Arizona State. 4 News Now, we'll be right back.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Now, are Big Macs really shrinking, or are my hands getting bigger?
Whoa, easy, big guy. Look, a big Carl.
Thank goodness.
Bite into a bigger, beefier burger. The Big Carl, only at Carl's Jr.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
Dear Detour, you took us off-road on the gnarliest trails. You asked us to measure up. So yeah, we did. When life slings you mud, sling it right back. Stay strong, Toyota Trucks.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan with roadside assistance. Visit your local Toyota dealer to learn more. Reserve yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
You can get your smile back today. At Affordable Dentures and Implants, we make high-quality tooth replacement affordable for everyone. So whether it's a single tooth, full dentures, or life-changing dental implants, we have an experienced dentist who can help you go ahead and smile. Click or call to schedule your new smile consultation today.
Go ahead and smile.
They keep us safe, put their lives on the line every day. Yet radicals want to defund the police and give criminals get-out-of-jail-free cards. That's the last thing we need. Law enforcement has a champion, Kathy McMorris Rodgers. Kathy says no to defunding the police and voted to secure more funding for local police departments. Endorsed by police and sheriffs, Kathy backs the blue and they back her.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rodgers and I approve this message.
We have big news.
Really big.
Turns out the Big Mac isn't actually that big, unlike the really big Carl, which is...
How juicy.
Hey, we're live.
It's just you and me, baby.
I'm uncomfortable.
Bite into a really big burger. The really big Carl, only at Carl's Jr.
Well, Destiny, we often see you in the morning, out in the cold and the snow, and oh, this doesn't look like the best week for you. I'm sorry.
That is okay. Well, when our reporters, including myself, go out live in the field, we wear an earpiece to listen and communicate with our producer and the rest of the news team. One reporter in Chile, wearing an AirPod, lost his connection thanks to a curious bird. You can see the reporter here reporting on a story about crime. Then a parrot lands on his shoulder. The bird couldn't be bothered. The parrot then plucks his AirPod out of his ear and flies away. At some point, the bird did drop his AirPod, and they were able to find it nearby. Oh my gosh.
Well, we all know the crime problem in that neighborhood.
Yes, I wear an AirPod, so I'm very scared.
Watch out for those sleeping birds.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.